Emergency broadcast. Uh, it looks like this whole fucking thing is going the playbook of the Great Plague of 1665. This is exactly what they're pulling. And so basically, we'll cut to the chase. Right after the Great Plague of 1665, which went into 1666, the end of the summer of 1666, into the fall of 1666, guess what happened? The Great Fire of London happened. That's what they're going to do. And that's why there's all these fireworks everywhere. Everybody's talking about they're going to plan on burning down New York City or poor sections of New York City. What do you think?
Certainly it sounds, in my neighborhood, it sounds like, I don't know, like Sarajevo or like Fallujah or something. It sounds like we're being attacked by a foreign army. And you try calling it in to 311 and they say, oh, well, we can't take, if you have a report of illegal fireworks being used or sold, you have to call 911. And you try calling 911 and they say, oh, well, if you don't have an actual address, you have to call somebody else. I mean, they say call 311. And I say, well, they just told me to call you. And it's a scam. I mean, fireworks are not legal in New York City, and we're not used to hearing the bombardment constantly. It starts at 2:00 in the afternoon, and it's been going on for a month. And I looked this up, and I realized there are articles that have been written about it, and there are other cities talking about how they're also having these fireworks situations. And
it's happening all over the United States. Yeah.
Yeah. This is really disturbing because nobody is doing anything about it, and nobody is talking about it, and that's it's a bad sign.
Here's what's really suspicious about it is that New York City has zero, nothing, no tradition, no acclimatization about even awareness about the concept of lighting off fireworks during 4th of July. That's just not something that's not something that's a part of New York City residential life. Nor,
it would be one thing if it was 4th of July. It's been for a month.
Nor is there any logistical modes of supply of fireworks to cities. That's just not something that happens in New York City. So why do we have a massive logistical transshipment of fireworks to the big cities? Why is that? That's a question that the New York City NYPD, supposedly the best intelligence agency in the world outside of the CIA. Okay, I urge all listeners right now to start calling the chiefs of police of the NYC and the chiefs of the intelligence services of the NYPD intelligence and ask them, where are the fireworks coming from? Why are they not investigating them? Who is lighting them off? We don't even see who's lighting them off. And why all of a sudden is there fireworks in every single neighborhood? And then ask them, who's going to be to blame when New York City burns down?
Yeah, because if the cops aren't responding to the calls about fireworks, and they're saying, oh, well, it's just people are noticing it more because they're all at home because of lockdown. Well, no, actually, during the night, people are at home, even if they're working normally. There was not like this last year. They're saying, oh, well, there's thousands more complaints. There's 12,000 or something complaints versus like a couple hundred last year. But it's only because we're locked down this year and we notice it more. No, I call BS on that one. That was in an article, a news article. I believe it was NBC, and they were quoting, I forget who they were quoting, but it was some excuse-making idiot who was trying to gaslight us. And I'm sorry, this is not something that people just wouldn't notice if they happen to be out at a bar or something. It sounds like we are being bombed. I mean, it's quieted down now because it's 2:00 in the morning, but this is a nonstop situation. It really sounds like we're being bombed.
And nothing's going to be complete unless we, instead of going into this mystery zone, this is Israeli intelligence who's always behind all this stuff. Why? Well, because you're not going to find U.S. intelligence agents that are going to be willingly burning down the cities or spreading plagues. But Israeli intelligence has just the kind of people that have just enough disdain and disregard for human life and human dignity. It's all the solid research points to Israeli intelligence is doing a complete implosion of the United States of America, destroying everything and moving it all to China, where they have all the investments and all the money and all the gold now, because there's no more gold left in the United States. And
they're they're very familiar with doing these bombardments of cities, these fake bombardments of cities, because they've been doing it in Israel for so long. I mean, they're always telling them that they're under rocket fire and, oh, you're being bombarded by Hamas, these rockets that always land in open fields and never actually hurt or injure anybody. And so they know this technique very well. They're recycling a lot of the techniques that they use at home here, and it's quite telling that you have these situations because we're not being told we're under a bombardment now. But if you went out on the street and told somebody that we were, I mean, they would probably believe you because some of these things are so loud. It really does sound like a bomb is going off, and not everybody can see the fireworks because they're relatively small. I mean, some of them I see, but some of them don't, and it really does sound like there are explosions going on outside my window at times. I mean, these are like little crackles here. This is nothing. Earlier tonight it was appalling.
Okay, so we're just two people, and we can't do it all, you and I, Helen, honestly. So we're going to actually need some help, so we're going to have to recruit people who are listening to this video to start asking some fucking questions, because I'm sick of actually like saying these things a year or a month or 10 years in advance, and then suddenly they materialize, and then people go, oh, you were really great about that prediction. No, I want to, this is the news before it happens.
So that it doesn't happen. This is really important because this is your life too. This is your city. This is if you live in a city, if any of your loved ones, relatives live in a city, this is not a joke. This is not something that we're just because it's funny, it's not funny. This is a very serious thing that is going to happen to all of us if we do not spread the word widely, get it out there, make sure that these motherfuckers know that we know what they're doing.
Now, here's an interesting part. Normally, I would say, hey, guess which neighborhoods are going to burn? The rich ones or the poor ones? Now, normally the answer would be, well, the poor ones to move them out and gentrify them, right? But guess what? The rich ones have probably just topped up their insurance policy on those apartments that they don't want to move back into now because they've got their places in the Hamptons. Yep. Yeah, and so they're going to burn that down.
Yeah, they've all left. They've all left. All the New Yorkers are gone.
This is going to be a fucking insurance job for rich neighborhoods so that they can get their money out. Because you know what? They can't get their fucking money out of this garbage that they have. It's overly inflated. So the rich are going to do an insurance job, and they're going to blame it on either Antifa, Iran, or China. I mean, that's what... Look, I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping that this just doesn't happen, and obviously because I don't want it to happen, right? But I got a really bad feeling about this one, Helen. I got a really bad feeling, So
this has been going on for a month. This is not 4th of July fireworks, or I had somebody try to tell me this was Juneteenth celebrations. They don't celebrate Juneteenth for 3 weeks beforehand with fireworks. I don't think fireworks have anything to do with this holiday. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, a lot of people have made excuses, and this idea that, oh, people just didn't notice it last year. It was just like this last year, except nobody knew it. No, because they were out at night. No, okay. This is ridiculous.
Investigators that are watching this and regular citizens, hopefully intelligent people, if you're an intelligent person, but if you're a content creator or an investigator or somebody who has a little bit of influence, we need you to start contacting NYPD intelligence, start contacting the FBI, start contacting the mayor's office, start contacting that piece of shit Cuomo, and start asking the question, what are you, if the city burns down, first of all, you're to blame for this, because we're telling you, we're getting the feeling that the city's going to burn. Okay, so what are you going to do now to stop it? Now that you've been warned, we're telling you, it looks like, and we're telling you who's going to do it. Now, of course, if you're one of these pieces of shit who receives money from Israel, like Cuomo and stuff, oh, how could you? That's anti-Semitic to say that Israel would do something like that, right? Okay. So then the question becomes, we have to find people in these areas like NYPD intelligence and FBI and Secret Service, who are not beholding to Israeli intelligence, and let them know that Israeli intelligence is going to start imploding every aspect of our world like they did the pandemic. Obviously, I know this is a lot of information for an FBI agent because they're not used to actual, real. They're used to very low level stuff, I guess, because this
They're
stuff is
used to
pretty easy.
creating their own terrorists and then busting them.
Sure.
Unfortunately, this requires them to actually do some work, some shoe leather, like, investigative searching. Earn your goddamn paycheck, man. You take
Right.
enough of our tax dollars, earn it.
Well, the thing about it is that you have to appeal. You can't appeal to an average agent because they're just gonna get along and go along. So you have to say, look, you are going to be an international superhero. Yes, you're gonna get kicked out of your investigative. You're gonna get kicked out of the agency. Absolutely. Because if you start discovering that the crimes of Israel, you're not going to last very long in any role or any position. But the world is changing. People are sick and tired of this bullshit. You will be an international superhero. Okay, you lose your job with the FBI for telling the truth. Yes, that is a fact. You will lose your job. But the book deal you'll get,
Book deal, film deal.
film deal,
You can have the actor
Tom
of your choice
Cruise.
play you. Yeah,
Tom
actor of your
Cruise is going to
choice.
play your part, Brad Pitt.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really, and you'll you'll be able to sleep well at night knowing you've saved a lot of lives. People will run up to you on the street, throw their arms around you, and say, "Yes, hear what America is all about." I mean, a lot of people have lost their faith in the world, in America rather. There's polls that where people patriotism is at its like lowest level since they started measuring it 40 years ago or something like that. Gallup poll, I think. So people need a little bit of faith in their government, and you can provide that. So please, just if you need motivation outside of the fact that people are going to die in a horrible way that this government is supposed to stop, but instead is decided to do just because it's so heinously corrupt, just yeah, for whatever personal reasons you need to come up with, find them and do it.
Yeah. All right. So that's enough. You know what to do, people who are watching this. Let's save the city, save our world, save our country, save our families, save our future. Right.
Sounds like a good idea.
Peace. Best luck and Godspeed, everybody.